So today I want to drop a channel exclusive bombshell on you, showing you channel exclusive proof that certain Aquaman starlet not only went after JD, but she went after JD in such a way that, well, you see the remote control right in front of you. She managed to crack this on him after going after him with it. And then she goes much, much further, taking what she did to JD and turning it into a story that she tries to utilize against him, saying that JD, he grabbed a cell phone, he wound up his arm like a baseball pitcher, and he threw that cell phone at me. Yeah, it sounds like, again, she took something that was done to someone else. In this instance, she ended up doing it herself, but in other instances, she apparently took the story from Kate James, that would have been her assistant, of the worst things that ever happened to her. We've seen proof that she took stories about what her father did and added that to JD as well. Yeah, buckle up, because we're going to talk about all of that stuff today. Crazy times, huh? Crazy times indeed. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And like I said, this is channel exclusive material you're not going to find on anyone else's channel. Why? Because I ended up getting this from sources. I've been covering JD versus that certain Aquaman starlet for well over 2 years now. I have a lot of different things that I've ended up with that never popped up anywhere else. And this, it did not make an appearance in UK 2020. It did not make an appearance in Virginia 2022. Now, to make this very clear, what I'm talking about not appearing is the physical evidence. The two items I'm going to show you, that would be the remote control picture. It would also be the text message that I brought up. But as far as the story itself is concerned, this is entered into UK 2020. This is brought up by Kevin Murphy, who is the property manager back when for JD. He brings up two big incidents with her as well. He brought up number one, the things that happened in Australia. That ended up triggering an investigation in Australia. That's how believable they found him. And also, he's the one who ended up bringing the hashtag #MePoo story up to JD, and that certain Aquaman starlet went after him in the aftermath, tried to say that he ended up destroying their marriage and so much more. But yeah, this is what he had to say about that and about that certain Aquaman starlet as well. Listen to this stuff here. I mean, this is crazy. So throughout the course of my employment, I have heard that certain Aquaman starlet scream at JD on multiple occasions. How many times have we heard that, by the way? I have not heard JD scream at her. Again, how many times have we heard that already, by the way? I believe that certain Aquaman starlet is a highly volatile person. We've heard that from multiple people too. She became increasingly volatile when she drinks, and when she drinks in combination with the amphetamine Provigil, a drug which I understand she took regularly when I was employed by JD. That has been confirmed, by the way. It was confirmed by multiple sources. That includes Kate James, her personal assistant, the nurse that worked with her, the doctor too. Doctor notes and well. So yeah, she was taking that, and you know about her drinking habits. Her violent behavior also increased when she drank wine, which she requested that I bring her on multiple occasions. Remember too, Ben King, he came in and he talked about the baseline for the drinking. He said before Australia, so this was back early on, we still hadn't gotten to the back end of the relationship, he was getting 1 to 2 bottles of wine for her to consume as a baseline per day. That's not with her friends around. And remember, those bottles, they cost $500 a pop. She had a $10,000 wine habit, according to Ed White, their personal accountant. Continuing. On one occasion, I cannot remember exactly when, I was informed by JD of a specific act of violence against him on the deck of one of JD's properties. We're going to call this the Sweetser Avenue property. I redacted the address there just 2 minutes before I arrived. JD told me that certain Aquaman starlet had become enraged and threw a heavy television remote control at JD's face. The television remote had connected with his forehead with such force that it had broken. When I arrived at the property, I could clearly see a round, swelled lump and laceration to JD's forehead left by the television remote. JD appeared uncomfortable and embarrassed by the situation. He stated that it was quote-unquote no big deal and asked me if I could get the remote fixed or replaced. I mean, imagine how commonplace this behavior has to be when you shrug it off, when you say, hey, that's no big deal. By the way, do you think that you could get this fixed? Because you know what? I want to watch more TV. Now, as far as the physical evidence is concerned, this physical evidence, it makes an appearance all the way back in June 2016, where you have a text message between one Kevin Murphy and Laura Wasser. That would be the divorce attorney then for JD, with Kevin Murphy saying, hey, you know what? I remember something. This is a pic of a remote control back at the house. Again, this would be the Switzer house that's cracked because that certain Aquaman starlet threw it at JD and hit him in the forehead. This, it transpired about a year ago or so. So when you think about that, I mean, they're talking about smack in the middle of 2015. That would line up with a lot of his claims that he was making. And you have Laura Wasser saying, hey, nice, thank you. After the picture, it's actually delivered via iPhone. Now, as far as the picture evidence of this is concerned, I mean, this is rather disconcerting. You can see, even without zooming in on it, you can actually see the damage to the remote control. You'll notice there's a crack at the top. It goes down. It almost cracks a piece off of it. You can see the bridge between it, and it cracks all the way down, almost to the battery component here. I mean, that's how much damage that she allegedly did with that. Plus, if you start zooming in, you'll notice there are scratches across the top. Again, could you imagine actually doing this to another person? Now, what makes this even worse? In my opinion, she took this story and she turned it into her own. Her final incident that she alleges, the May 21st, 2016 one, where the police officers arrived, she said that JD ended up taking an iPhone. He ended up winding up like a baseball pitcher. He throws it at her face. He makes contact with her face. Yeah, I'm thinking that story, it was a real story, but the story wasn't about her. It was about JD and what happened to him, and she made it her own, just like she made 2 other stories her own. Remember, her assistant, Kate James, alleges that one of the claims that she put together, that claim was taken from Kate James's story, and a horrific one at that. And we've also seen proof that the claims that she made about dogs, with JD hanging them out of windows and such, yeah, that claim actually tracks all the way back to her father, because her father was arrested for that type of stuff. These are 3 different stories that you can associate with what she says. None of those things belong to her. Again, channel exclusive material. You need to share this out. Let everyone know, because when you see it, that is something. The words alone, they don't do justice to this. They don't do justice at all. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff. And as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. If you want to check out our book or our merchandising, we have all types of stuff. Check that out. It helps the channel. But you being here, that helps most of all. So thank you. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. You know that drill. But thank you. Playing this all the way through, getting here, that helps most of all. Going to see you soon. Going to end here. Thank you again.